Blessed are you who are poor, for yours is the kingdom of God. Blessed are you who are hungry now, for you shall be satisfied. Blessed are you who weep now, for you shall laugh. When we think of Jesus through his teachings, we can imagine a man who brought hope to his followers, many of whom were the poorest and most oppressed in their society. His presence made them feel better. His promise that they were loved, like a good father might love a child, gave them hope. Yet Jesus preached an urgent message because he believed that the end of the world was very close at hand. He thought it would happen during his lifetime. For this reason, he was not thinking so much about what would happen to people after natural death. He wanted them to live a good life, to bring about the kingdom of God, to practice at living in paradise, which was within them. Now, since I didn't have a Christian upbringing, it was during my ministry training that I learned about the earliest surviving Christian documents being hymns worshipping Jesus rather than describing his life. Stories of Jesus' life would have been circulating orally and later collected in written form, which eventually became the Gospels. And we know, of course, that there were many different Gospels, but only a select few were included in what we now call the New Testament. And perhaps we can understand why, having believed that they had seen him return from the dead, that Jesus' followers turned this rebellious freethinker into a god. Jesus, it seems to me, was a person who really cared about the people around him, and he could make them feel wonderful. They may even have felt like they'd been cured from illness just by the way his gaze rested upon them and the kind things that he said to them. And we find balance in his teachings from the Sermon of the Plain. Do good in the world and you will be rewarded. Do harm and there will be consequences. He went beyond love your neighbour or members of your own tribe to love your enemies. Where teachers before him had felt that following religious laws or performing particular rites were the most important thing, Jesus emphasized right behaviour and relationships with others. Many of you will know these things, of course, but for me it provides the key to how we might respond to world events. In the Q&A after the service last week, we spoke about many things, from the American political climate and how US citizens are perceived abroad, to how to satisfy our curiosity about other cultures without othering them in the process. I happen to think that Jesus was probably a very good listener, and a lot of good can be achieved by practicing really attentive listening to others and right behaviour. Strengthening our relationships with others in this way can play a part in addressing these many complex issues. Live generously is the message of Jesus. Give away your life. You will be given back. Your life will be given back with bonus and blessing. And I think many Unitarians and UUs will find an affinity with this living generously approach. Now, of course, Unitarians and UUs don't claim unique beliefs which others must conform to in order to be saved. After all, there are probably as many beliefs out there as there are believers. So I'm never surprised to learn that factions have developed in most religions as disagreements come to the surface. When I was a ministry student in Oxford a decade ago, I attended an Enneagram workshop. Participants were divided into groups based on their character traits, and I read through the different descriptions and chose my number 7 I think it was, and we were asked to stand in the position near others with the same number. And so I assumed that most of the group were going to stand in my corner of the room. Surely, I thought, everyone must be a 7. Imagine my surprise when only a handful of the 30 participants came to join me. More than any lesson about the Enneagram system itself, this was a reminder to me not to make assumptions and accept that people are just different. There are differences indeed, but also some basic values and ideas that we hold dear and share with other faiths. I do sometimes think it would be difficult to be an evangelical Unitarian firebrand. I'm not sure it would be particularly effective if I started waving my arms and telling people to be kind and caring, but maybe I should try it sometime. And 300 years before Jesus was wowing the crowds, the Tao Te Ching emphasised a similar balance and the importance of taking no action which is not in harmony with nature and the cosmos, something I think which human beings can find difficult at times. From our reading earlier, the great way is easy, yet people prefer the side paths. All this is robbery and chaos, and it is not in keeping with the Tao. And yet the later verses offer hope. Let the Tao be present in the universe, and the universe will sing. The writer Jennifer Alston Moore concludes that the concept of the Tao provides a structure for making sense of the change of the seasons, the life cycle of creation, and the individual's place in the world. Yet we can struggle, can't we, as individuals, professionals, and as a community, to find meaning and to be at peace with our place in a world full of so much suffering. At the valedictory service to mark the completion of my ministry training, the college principal urged us to keep learning, and I feel I have continued in that spirit with this exchange with Reverend Allison. Many of the things that I've learnt over the past 3 weeks are rather more reminders of things I probably already knew. That there are good-hearted people everywhere, and there are a few aggressive drivers everywhere too. That encountering differences in your hometown or in a foreign land is bound to broaden the mind. But most of all, I learned the benefits of pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone into, no, not your panic zone, into your stretch zone. At weddings, I'm fond of saying that good relationships enable us to risk more and so to gain more. A 3-week exchange like this is a relatively low risk compared to many other life choices, but I feel that I and my husband and my child have gained so much by being here even for such a short time. I often describe the flaming chalice as a metaphor for our spiritual community, a warm container within which to do this work, to explore our beliefs and our approach to life. I have a dissenting voice in the back there. My chalice community has enabled me to step out and benefit from this wonderful experience. Jesus taught that the kingdom of God is already here, that it is within us, in all of us. And if we consider the teachings of the Tao, that the way to live a good life is to live with balance and harmony with nature, these sources of wisdom may enable us to find a path of purpose. This is the way to practice living in paradise. We are blessed to be given these symbols and metaphors and the freedom within our Unitarian and UU chalice container to interpret them through the lens of our own lived experience. And yet, we are living in a world where extreme views in religion and politics seem to get the most airtime. But practicing moderation and seeking balance and harmony in our lives is vital if we are to find fulfillment, find a way through the hum in order to formulate a response to what's happening in the world. We may not be able to shout about it. What do we want? Moderation and balance. When do we want it? As soon as possible, please. But it does make a difference, I promise you. I believe that practicing at paradise here and now is important precisely because we can't know what lies beyond. It is better for us to try to make a good job of this life for its own sake, not for any reward in any heavenly paradise, but because through our actions we can make this life a paradise. Now, so much of our work and life is in our heads, isn't it? Valuing intellectual words over the power of simple emotion. So my hope is, as we consider how to practice at paradise in a world that seems upturned at times, is that we return to the heart. Working from our heart space, we can re-engage with our why. Why are we here? Why are we doing what we do? And what is of highest worth to us? We can put aside our egocentric need to fix other people and work out what's really important to us as soul beings and how this might connect us to each other. Now, the tinker in our story earlier travelled many miles in pursuit of his dream of treasure, only to find that the gold lay buried at home. We may still need to make a journey in order to learn a lesson, but I wonder what treasure is buried in your backyard and what might make this earth a paradise for you. So let's just take a few moments of stillness to consider that. You might want to close your eyes and focus on your breath. Just see what bubbles up for you. What is the treasure buried in your backyard? Perhaps we can share our insights over coffee after the service.